to introduce you the subject, whenever and we have asked you, or whenever you ask any consumer people whether they like or dislike a product, say Kishan ketchup, or the service Vodafone Red family plan, or an advertisement theme, that is bus 2 minute Maggi noodle, or a particular retailer, they are being asked to express what is known as their attitudes. Attitude research therefore helps to ascertain the likelihood that consumers will accept a proposed new product idea, or gauge why firms target audience is not reacted favorably. So it is like attitude makes the person accept things. Now in that case, you need to really know attitude towards a new product or a new service that you are going to introduce, versus the firm's target audience. Why have they not reacted, or why people have reacted favorably to your promotional themes, etc. So this understanding comes to you when you effort to understand the attitude. So that's what the attitude is all about. Attitudes are an expression of inner feeling that reflects whether a person is favorably or unfavorably predisposed. Predisposed is a very important word, to some object, to the object that has been presented by the brand, by the company, which could be the brand, the service, the retail outlet, etc. So your customer or your target audience is favorably or unfavorably predisposed. That is what is an attitude understanding is all about. Marketeers therefore must spend required focus on understanding the attitude towards your object. Object is that you can decide whether it's your retail outlet or your product or the brand, etc. It's an outcome of a psychological process, driven by the psychological process, are not directly observable. You cannot really observe. However, you have to infer from how people behave, what people tell about you. So what will people say when you say Sony Bravia or Maggi, etc., or a Yuppie, Maggi versus Yuppie? What will people say? So that is how you get an idea about the attitude. Okay. A whole universe of consumer behavior, that is every aspect of, or rather the major aspect of consumer behavior, like starting from the consistency in the purchase, recommending your product to the others, giving you ranking, the beliefs, the evolution, etc., are all related to the subject matter of attitude. Therefore, you see it's significant in its own way. So now the definition: attitude is a learned predisposition. Learned, please understand, to behave in a consistently favorable or unfavorable way with respect to a given object. Through my past learning, I develop an attitude, I develop a feeling, I developed either a favorable or an unfavorable predisposition towards the object that you offer. Object may be your product, your company, your retail outlet, etc. So that's a predisposition is a very important word. It comes out of how person has been exposed to the product or the object that you are offering. So that's how the attitude formation takes place. It's a predisposition stage. Now, can this predisposition be changed? Yes, it can be. So that's what attitude change. When we come there, we will see. So what is attitude object? So we are now studying certain salient aspects. They are in the form of lines or a statement, and then the basic explanations. So attitude object is nothing but issue, action, behavior, practice, person, event, the product, the outlet, as the case may be. What is it towards which the object, towards which the attitude gets developed? That's what is the attitude object. When we want to determine the attitude towards online shopping, so the object in this case will become therefore the online shopping sites. It could be Flipkart, Snapdeal, Amazon, or ShopClues, etc. So they become the attitude object. Attitudes are a learned predisposition, as the definition was suggesting, means that attitude relevant to a purchase behaviors are formed through pre-exposure, predisposition. So their attitudes are a formative stage. Therefore, attitude can also be changed or influenced, as the case may be. Attitudes are a predisposition, so learning that further, formed as a result of direct experience with the product or information that I have acquired from the others, or an exposure that I got through the mass media. Okay, I'm not owning, neither I have a desire to own, say, like a Benz or a BMW, but I have formed my attitude towards the product. Okay, Attitudes are not synonyms with the behaviors. Attitude does not mean favorable attitude does not mean the favorable behavior. It's a two different thing. You have to persuade person to behave, but for him to behave, there is to be a favorable attitude formation. Therefore, it comes as a roadblock or it comes as a path towards the favorable behavior. It reflects either a favorable or an unfavorable evaluation. So accordingly, the behavior will get affected. As a predisposition, when I say predispositions, have certain motivational things attached to it that might propel the consumer towards a particular brand. So a predisposition, if it is handled well, the motivation towards the brand will grow favorable, and therefore the positive predisposition will get formed. Attitudes occur within a situation. Very rightly said, we are driven, attitudes will be different in different situations. Certain situations you command yourself, so you will be favorably poised. Certain situation is out of your control, so you will not be favorably poised. Certain situations where you are personally involved, certain situations you are not personally involved. So all those aspects will determine your attitude. A situation can cause the consumers to behave in a specific manner, many times inconsistent. So for example, buying different brands of coffee, you may buy a different brand of coffee at one particular time, though you are a very loyal to Nescafe. Or situation, when I say that I am buying goods for my wife, I'm in a different situation. My attitude in selection will be different vis-a-vis. I am buying this for my friend. I'm in a different situation, so my attitude may vary. Individuals can have a different attitudes towards a particular behavior. A particular behavior, when individual observes, may have a different attitudes, and that's a outcome of different attitudes which may form similar behavior in two different individuals. So attitude is therefore a complex subject. However, one positive thing why the market is driven towards it, it can be influenced or it can be changed. So once you know your predisposition state, then you can work towards influencing or changing it. Uh, Different attitudes towards a particular behavior is corresponding to a particular situation. Only lunch at a restaurant. So like different attitude, and we have different attitudes towards a particular behavior, which corresponds to a situation. We generally prefer to have lunch at a restaurant. Okay, India, very few individuals think of relaxing at Starbucks. Still, though they are very popular, etc. But relaxing at a Starbucks is still not, in our mindset. That situation or that perspective is still not there in the large number of people. It's important to understand how consumer attitude vary from situation to situation. For instance, it is useful to know whether the consumer preference for different burger chains vary in terms of eating situations. So there are different burgers product provider, so Burger King and various other things. Now, in terms of eating situation, whether the preference for them will vary. What is people's attitude when it comes to eating situation at a different chains of burger product provider? Attitude may play a vital role. What is the attitude that they've formed about it, the eating situation? Under the attitude, understanding the concept of salience definitely comes into perspective. So what is salience? Under different conditions, our attitude does not hold the same relevance or a salience for the product or the individuals under different situations. So situation to situation, our attitude may vary, and therefore there is no saliency in our attitude related to different situations. Example here given is public display of affection. I keep giving this example. If I am in London and if I see this thing happening in front of me, my attitude will be different vis-a-vis if I am in Mumbai, Marine Drive, when I see this thing happening, my attitude will be different. I may object. There I will accept. Okay. You have some preference towards a specific brand. They may or may not be, there may be may or may not be any attitude as such, but even if there is some attitude, it's not relevant all the time. Pepsi with the family. I have a favorable attitude towards Pepsi, but often when it comes to family and the family suppose resist, having a Pepsi together, it may be easy for me to give it up, and I may go and have the mango if they are offering to me. Attitude is a result of a number of attitudes towards different attributes. So attitude is a result of what is your attitude toward different attributes. So each product has certain attributes. Now your attitude towards different attributes of the product, this thing may also be different. Now in such case, what will happen? So what is a stronger this thing will prevail. So it could be price, whether I'm looking at a price while buying a fire extinguisher, or I'm looking at a safety, I'm looking at a performance even after a long time, no freezing of valve or something like that. So what is that? So accordingly, my attitude at safety may be higher than the price. So in that case, the high price will not matter much, because I'm looking at a very safe and secured way of fire extinguishing. Okay, so that's what the saliency this thing is, variably, or you can say probably inversely related to the attitude and attitude situation in which you have to decide your attitude. So that's a relativeness out here. All these have a varying salience based on the category, the situation, etc. We just told you. The fragrance is highly salient for a perfume. So for a perfume, fragrance is a core thing. Therefore, it is very salient, which is not the case with medicine. We will not look for a fragrance in the medicine. Price may be highly salient for the fast food, but not for the trivial item like a scratch guard, etc. Styling is valued at the time of an occasion specific dress, say wedding and all. Then there is a saliency, this thing, which is not the case with my daily wear. Anytime, sometime I may allow, whether I like or not, I will accept if somebody has given or a wife has brought that item. If it is of a regular casual wear, I will tolerate, even if it is not meeting my preference or the attitude. So that's where the salience versus the attitude and product attributes, different aspects of product attribute vis-a-vis the attitude, etc. So that's the relationship that one need to understand.